The forming of the Revolutionary Army. Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm a One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about One Piece, Chapter 1097. Well, as expected, continuation of Kuma's backstory, where we now are in Sorbet Kingdom. Kuma and Ginny are now growing up together, trying to earn a living, trying to live an honest life after being slaves for God knows how long. And, well, we've got some twists and tales in the chapter. Not really much of a twist and tale, but rather a fill up of the gaps within the timeline of the story. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. First things first. Whoever said Ginny wasn't going to be the mother of Bonnie, think again. Like, of course, we still don't know, but dude, if this isn't happening now, I don't think it's ever happening again. So yeah, Ginny's probably going to be the mother of Bonnie, and it's pretty likely. Like, these two like each other. It's very wholesome that they've literally grown up as people with one another and fallen in love, and now he's going to start a family. It's pretty insane. At the same time, it's amazing. So yeah, anyone who said otherwise, I don't know what you guys were thinking, but dude, that's how it's gonna work. So with that being said, we see Kuma helping people. Kuma helping the old people of the Sorbet Kingdom who comes to him for help, for healing, and he heals them. Of course, people don't actually know where the healing power comes from, what drawbacks it has. Even me, for that matter, I forget that in order for Kuma to take the pain, he has to give it to someone else. Whether it be himself or somebody else, someone has to take that in. It's not just touching you, healing you, and it's done. It comes with a sacrifice. And I forget that, of course, Kuma's going to be the one that sacrifices himself. Every single time. That's how he is as a character. We've been seeing that from time and time again, from the start of the story till now. And, well, sort of makes sense. Excuse me. So, with that being said, Kuma's building quite a reputation for himself within the southern part of the Sorbet Kingdom. And of course, we get to know within the future of the story that Kuma becomes known as a Tyrant King. Of course, Bonnie disagrees because he's a nice person. Of course, Kuma's a nice person. We know that. The reason why world government trademarked him as the Tyrant King is because, of course, he overthrown the kingdom. He overthrew the kingdom that was ruling Sorbet for a very long time. And of course, that king, the previous king, was of course a very good puppet of the world government. He paid his heavenly tributes. He cared about the world government. He was obedient towards the celestial dragons. And of course, obviously makes sense when someone like that gets overtaken by a random nobody, especially considering Kuma's lineage. It makes sense why the government was pissed, and they still are. So with that being said, Kuma, of course, gets in trouble. Not him necessarily, but yeah, the king tries to take over, tries to, destroy the southern part and whatever. Not, they got in trouble. Kuma tries to save them, gets captured, everyone else gets captured and whatever, not. Kuma, Ginny, and everybody else. And then we see Dragon and the Revolutionary Army. Although at that time they were known as the Freedom Fighters. They come into the Sorbet Kingdom, help Kuma and Ginny get out of there, finally get a reunion between Kuma and Ivankov, which is very wholesome. It didn't take long for us, but took a long time for them. But that eventually happened. It had to happen. And we got to know, finally, the elephant in the room is that Dragon is not... Dragon used to be a Marine. Of course, Dragon being the son of Garp, and Garp being someone who is a well-reputed Marine, who will of course motivate his children and his grandchildren to become Marines, work for the world government, work for the justice and whatever not, no matter how corrupted it is, work for the law. Dragon obviously gave it a shot, being the son he is. But, of course, he figured out the truth, as like most other admirals, vice admirals within the world of One Piece, who gets to figure out how corrupted the world government is, and especially after the incident of Ohara, where Dragon opened his eyes towards the world, saw the cruelty and the hypocrisy with the world government, and decided to go against it, which everything makes sense, lines up, and all the theorists that has been talking about Dragon being a Marine, congratulations, we got a theory correct. We read Oda. but not me, but other people. But anyways, that's like beside the point. We see that Kuma then overthrows the king, doesn't become the king himself, joins the revolutionary army, and we see them get off to places. Now, of course, we're probably going to see a more continuation of the story, a continuation of the flashback until whatever happens with Kuma's current timeline, with the world government taking over and whatever not. I also like one of this very important part when Ginny said he should start a family, they should get married, and Kuma remembers his childhood when his father was, of the Burakian race, Bukharian race, Bukharian race, or whatever it is. It's hard to pronounce. And of course, Kuma being one of them as well, it analyzes the factors that if we start a family, our offspring is going to be of the same race, and we're going to get into trouble. That child will get into trouble with the world government because of Kuma's lineage, and that's going to create problems. I see that part hitting me very hard. That he's trying to be the same way his father was. And it makes sense. He's such a kind soul. Breaks my heart. But we know that ends up happening anyways. And we definitely know why the world government looks for Bonnie in the first place. Probably not because of the lineage, but because of Kuma himself. With that being said, of course, with the sad parts aside, the revolutionary armies split up. And of course, and one more thing, which we will probably get to see, is a little bit of Dragon's powers. If not everything, probably not everything, but quite definitely a bit of Dragon's power in the flashback, because we're going to see Dragon trying to recapture Ginny. Ginny's been captured by enemy forces, and of course Dragon will go save her. We will probably get to see Kuma and Dragon in action, if we do get to see the enemy. If the enemy is strong, we will see them in action. If not, then I don't know, bro. Well, aside from that, I'm expecting a lot from this backstory. I'm expecting how the Marines find out about Kuma again, how they're planning to recapture him, and how they end up turning Kuma into a slave, how he was threatened, and everything with that. And the Revolutionary Army's reaction. Obviously, at the same time, you can know that that Vegapunk has some sort of a connection with Dragon. With that being said, Kuma has to become a slave. Vegapunk has to talk to Dragon about that and everything, programming Kuma in a way where he retains some of his memories. All of that, I think, will be revealed in the backstory, and I am very much looking forward to it, especially with chapter 1100 coming up. It's gonna be very, very, very special. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.